everyone. Welcome to Work Love Wednesday. Daisy and Smelter here for Work Love Wednesday. It is time for Work Love Wednesday. Hello, Facebook. It is time for Work Love Wednesday. And check it out. It's like 10:02. I'm on time today. Trying to get my screen set up so I can see my notes. Plus I can see if anyone hops on. And even if you're watching this later on, comment and let me know that you're here. I'm like chilling today. I'm in my Star Wars Chewbacca top. Just kind of working from home. I'm taking a real kind of chill Wednesday to recuperate. I've been feeling that very heavily lately. Energy's been really low, so taking care of myself, making time for myself, and that's usually a result of respecting my boundaries. So go to show, I'm still learning my lessons and still needing that. So as we are letting people hop on, got a lot of things that I want to chat about today. I know last week it was really short. I had Zoe. She's been kind of dealing with this dentist kind of saga thing, and it continues. She's going to go back tomorrow. So if you can say prayers for her that it all goes well, that she can get taken care of what she needs to so that she can have a healthy set of teeth again. Man, dental work is I don't know. I mean, I've had my share of it and it's just not fun. And my poor baby has it happening right now. So, say prayers that it goes well and that tomorrow is the start of a new healthy mouth. She's just got to get through like 2 more fillings, this poor little 4-year-old. Anyways, so last week it was short because I had her and she was emotional and it was an emotional kind of morning, but I wanted to still put something out there. And so I talked about this concept of joy in like basically a 6-minute kind of period and talking about things that really bring you joy, especially when you're shopping. But also during this period of time in this season of life, you want to make sure that you're doing things that bring you joy, like during the season. I mean, that's what it should be filled with, is joy-filled stuff, right? Anyways, so going back to this past weekend, we got to do some really cool things that were really filled with joy. Got to have dinner with friends and catch up. That's been probably months in the making because our schedules are so hectic that I haven't been able to see them. We got to have this nice wine dinner, catch up, and just kind of chill out and enjoy each other's company. And it was over wine tasting. So, of course, it had to be awesome at Naylor Winery. The other thing that was really cool is earlier that day on Saturday afternoon, I got to go to this holiday art studio open house with Deborah Nell, who's this awesome, inspirational artist who does some amazing work. And I got this painting here. I'm going to show you because I'm so excited about it. So this beautiful work, and this one is called Mary Did You Know? So very appropriate for this holiday season. But I love her artwork because it really just brings me joy when I look at it. And I actually got a couple of prints that I'm framing to gift to others in hopes that that joy will spread to them as well. The other thing that I did was I went with my good friend, Bobby Billman. We went to the New Visions open house and got to engage in some mini services, some much needed Reiki for myself. I didn't realize how much I needed it until I got on that table. And then I did a couple of readings, which I want to talk about today. But I also got to pick up a new deck of Oracle cards. If anyone knows me, I'm obsessed kind of with Oracle cards. They are just one of my favorite reflection tools, spiritual tools that really just help me focus when I'm struggling to focus on anything out there. And so I got this new one. It's called Spirit Song Tarot. So this is actually a tarot deck. And if you're not familiar with Oracle or tarot cards, if you kind of look historically, like I challenge you to go down the Google hole and kind of look for the actual historical facts regarding it. But tarot in its old school kind of root area was basically a card game. And so it really is just a tool. So there's a lot of things that people associate with tarot cards. It really is just a cool card game. And if you're ever questioning the, I don't know, the goodness quality of a deck, just look at who created the deck and research those individuals, because it's just everyone who creates a deck, they're artists, they're authors, and this is just their work of art that they create. So really, really cool. And we're going to show you some of the cards there because it kind of jump starts our conversation. But anyway, so I got to pick up some new decks. I got that deck and I got one other one that's at the office, so I can't show you that one. And I got to do some mini readings and really just focus on me. Really, it was a whole day driven by kind of what I wanted to do while filling in doing some shopping for other people, and it was just awesome. It was a wonderful, wonderful day, and I hope that you are having days like that as well. I want to talk about penguins. If you've known me for any amount of time, I have a mild obsession with penguins. I have a penguin Christmas tree that has 10 years worth of ornaments that I've collected. And if you think that penguins are present every Christmas year for ornaments, that's not true. We go through like years where there is a penguin drought and there's not ornaments. And then sometimes there's a plethora of them. So penguins are trending and hip and cool. This year, I've only found 2 ornaments. One was like in this tangled mess at the retail store, so I couldn't get it apart, which I was very, very sad because I've only found 2 this year. But I did get to bring a new one home, but they make me really, really happy. And I have a tendency to use animals a lot as reminders for things that are really significant for me in life. So the new book that I wrote, Flamingos, and those flamingos were very meaningful to me and have a lot of symbolism as to who I was creating that program for. And penguins are no different. And when you look at symbolism, if you look at even their nature, especially if we're talking about the emperor penguins, they really emphasize family in a sense. Those people that really, truly are really significant to you, and that's what they symbolize to me. So I look at my penguin tree, I look at penguins, but to me they symbolize the people that I really love and treasure the most. So I thought this wonderful deck that I got, the Spirit Song, it's all these beautiful hand-drawn images that are animals, so it's like right up my alley. And so I thought I'm going to go through and see if there's a penguin card. And there's this beautiful little penguin card in there. Look at the little penguin. Oh, yes, he's so adorable. And on the card, it says gratitude and fulfillment. And then each of these card decks, when you get them, whether it's tarot or oracle cards, they come with a little kind of guidebook that actually is the author's interpretation and intention for the deck. And so when we read about the penguins, let me just share what the penguin blurb says. So the message associated with the penguin is proficient at diving deep down beneath the surface of common perception to access what is needed and bringing dreams to fruition. Determined and insightful, he is your guide in the unfolding of a bright future. Penguin may not be able to fly, but that doesn't keep him from soaring. His gratitude radiates, casting a wave of awakening across the sky. Enjoy the reward of your past efforts, remain appreciative of good tidings, and take flight into new scopes of your being. With the power of inspiration, you are the master of building your own reality. And some of the keywords are happiness, gratitude, wishes fulfilled, comfort, triumph, inspiration, abundance, and rewards. And so this really leads into what I wanted to talk about today, is my big epiphany about this season. So last month, and I may have mentioned this already, but last month I am currently working on my Yin Yoga certification. which has a very special place in my heart, but that's a whole nother episode in itself. But one of the things that we were exposed to during that class is just the philosophies in regards to traditional Chinese medicine, and talking about the traditional yin and the yang, or the yang, and how they complement each other. And the yin part of life, or seasons of life, is, you guessed it, probably winter, the season that we are entering. And if you think about the yin to the yang, even traditionally, like when I think about back in grade school when we had those necklaces for best friends with the yin and the yang, I remember most of the time not wanting to be the yin, because usually it was dark and associated with evil, or this weird kind of dark, mysterious kind of atmosphere to it. But it does have those elements of dark, which are very similar to the winter season, but it also symbolizes reflection, or it symbolizes rejuvenation. It symbolizes that deep-rooted kind of growth that needs to happen. And that is what can happen during the winter season. And in fact, we have so many things that happen to us during the holiday season at rapid fire, which I think we kind of created those to serve as distractions. But in the end, we kind of created this like mammoth playground for growth. So what does that mean? You're coming in interaction with so many different people, so many different relationships, and so many different contexts. So yes, they're family. Yes, they're colleagues. Sometimes they're your spouse's colleagues. Sometimes they're clients. Sometimes they're just people that you run into when you're going to these public events or spaces or retail stores. All kinds of run-ins and conflicts. And so you have the ability to have triggers happen to you from interactions with people, which I think are some of the most powerful learning lessons that are out there. And so when these things happen, instead of getting angry, I mean, we're always going to get angry or sad or whatever those initial feeling reactions that happen will happen, but we also need to get curious about them, because recognizing that they are a growth opportunity for us. So when something is a trigger kind of event, when I recognize that I'm having a reaction to it, typically a negative reaction, it means that there's probably some growth that can happen in there. And I challenge you to embrace those periods of time and actually move towards reflecting, using that time to reflect deeply into what that can mean. Because the reflection that we do in this time, in the yin season, in the winter, is what is going to allow us to be ready to really hit the ground running when spring comes and when we want to make those dreams happen. This is the time where we lay the foundation and the seeds and make sure that it's solid, and even clean up, Gabby Bernstein likes to say, clean up our side of the street before we have to, or I shouldn't even say have to, but before we want to, or we get called to really start to deliver so that our dreams can manifest. And so my big epiphany is like, and maybe this is, I always thought this because I'm introverted by nature naturally, is that I wanted to kind of hibernate like air during winter. And I thought that that was so kind of messed up because this is a time to go be social and be out with other people. But really, naturally, the winter season is meant to be a time of reflection, a time of self-reflection, a time of going inward, of hibernating. Not so much focusing on building and connecting. It's more so about connecting with yourself and having that mentality there. And so this is just kind of scratching the surface like we do, and kind of giving you food, that's not what I want to say. I was going to say food nuggets, but nuggets for wisdom, or wisdom kind of nuggets for the week. But one of the things that's coming up is on December 15th. If you're local to York, Pennsylvania, at the Leadership Arts Associates, we're hosting a holiday open house. It was kind of a last minute thought, and everyone was available on the team to host it, so we're going to do it because it's just a good time, and it was an excuse for me to get people to bring sugar cookies and Christmas cookies to the office so that I can have my partake in them. If you're coming, I'm gluten-free. That would be awesome if you would make a gluten-free cookie. But in the morning, we're going to start it off with 2 45-minute workshops. And the first workshop in the morning is talking about winter rituals for self-care. So how do we start transitioning to, embrace this kind of reflective period, and how do we make the most of that while also rejuvenating ourselves while still functioning on a day-to-day basis, because life does not stop. We can't truly hibernate like the bear. But at 11 a.m., I'm really excited about this. I'm hosting a workshop on post-holiday relationship boundary recovery. So I think it's 2 years ago in January, I did a podcast talking about boundaries in regards to relationships and how to handle that, especially in relationships that you can't just make go away because you're related to them or you're married into them or whatever that scenario is, or you're born into them. But it did so well, and it really resonated with people because this is the season when we're coming in contact with so many people. And then after you're kind of left with this aftermath of all of this upheaval and restlessness on what do you do with all these feelings and emotions, and how do you kind of bring resolve to it, and how do you kind of restore yourself back after kind of taking this beating during the holiday season. And so I'm going to host a workshop talking about some great tools and tips on how to put things back into perspective and restore us back to a place so you can be centered and focused, mindful, and intentional, and get back to the path that you want to be on. So that's going to be at 11 a.m. on Saturday, December 15th. It's completely free. Seating is kind of limited, but it's completely free for 45 minutes. And then you can come hang out for the holiday party afterwards. And I'll put the link in the comments to the video, so that you can go and find more details about the holiday open house if you're interested. So that was my kind of rant for today's Work Love Wednesday. But love to hear your thoughts on all kinds of things. Have you been doing stuff over the past week that brings you joy? What is the penguin? How does it speak to you? Do you like penguins? Do you not like penguins? But last but not least, what about this idea of reflection in the season and the triggers that you experience? Do you find that you have relationship triggers? Do you find that there's things about this season that bring things up of these really emotional kind of high emotional reactions, whether they're sad or angry or whichever that they are? And then do you want to get curious about them? And if not, then, let's talk about why. And if you're not comfortable commenting here, feel free to give me an email. Send me an email at Sam with 2 M's, SAMM @leadershipisart.com, because I'd love to hear your feedback, and maybe that gives me some insight for what we talk about next week. So until next week, have a great Wednesday. The week is halfway over, and until next time, bye.